Hey guys, welcome back to another Brawl Stars video, and today we're going to take a close look at some footage of Jessie's turret Scrappy to figure out all of the stats behind how Scrappy works, why there's like the spread of bullets and why some of them won't hit you at all even if you're just like standing still in front of it, and hopefully all of this will let you have a better idea of how to place it and how to use Scrappy in the heat of battle. So let's start with the range. So in this video you can see that the bullets are going to disappear right here, and that's going to be about 9 tiles of range in total, which is actually the exact same range as Jessie's normal attacks. So you can actually drag your attack and see that white aiming line, and that's actually going to give you a sort of indication of the range of Scrappy whenever you place it down. So that's something to keep in mind. Now let's try to figure out its attack speed. So I went frame by frame on this video, and I found that each bullet travels the full 9 tiles of range in about 45 frames, and this is at a rate of 60 frames per second. So that means it just travels those 9 tiles in 3/4 of a second. So the bullets are going to have an overall speed of 12 tiles per second. And the time in between Scrappy shooting each bullet is 18 frames out of 60 again. So that means Scrappy is going to shoot one bullet every 0.3 seconds, which comes out to just over 3 bullets per second as the fire rate. Now with this, we can actually calculate the overall damage per second of Jessie's turret. So each bullet is going to do 364 damage at max level. Mine's only at level 8 right now, so that's why you don't see it quite up there at 364. But if we multiply that 364 damage times the number of bullets per second that we just calculated, then we can see that Scrappy is going to do about 1,213 damage per second, as long as it hits every single bullet. And this is confirmed because the training cave actually tells you what your damage per second is in the top right, and it's pretty close to that 1,213, even though that number on the training cave is sometimes a bit inaccurate since it changes every second. But the main issue with this is that you don't always get that high DPS because the bullets are pretty easy to dodge. And also, even if Scrappy is targeting something stationary like a heist safe, it still won't necessarily hit all of the bullets because they don't shoot perfectly straight all the time, and some are going to spread out and won't actually hit the target. So now let's take a closer look at how this spread actually works. So obviously at close range, the bullets are all going to hit. There's no way you can really miss a target when it's that close to you. So 100% of the bullets are going to hit, and then it's slowly going to get less and less as you get farther away. And I want to come up with a sort of lower bound. So basically I just want to find out what percentage of bullets are going to hit when you are at max range and just standing still, if you were something like a heist safe or just an AFK teammate. Probably see more of those in the wild anyway. So it takes 11 shots to take out one of these bots from the training cave, and I calculated how many bullets Scrappy would shoot until you finally got that last shot to connect. And there's actually a huge amount of variance here. I did 10 different trials, and the lowest one was 16, so it hit 11 shots out of those 16, and the highest one was all the way up at 34, so it only hit 11 shots out of 34. So you can see there can be a lot of variance. It's sort of random, it seems like. But now I want to calculate sort of the average percentage of a hit rate that you're going to get at max range. And since I stopped counting right when that 11th shot hit, that does bias the percentages a bit, because if you were to get a couple more misses after that last hit, that would decrease your hit rate, but it wouldn't get any more hits. So it sort of biases the probabilities. So what I'm doing is I'm subtracting 1 from each of those totals to eliminate that last hit, and basically saying you only need to hit 10 shots. So for example, the first trial took 29 shots to completely kill the entire robot. So in order to calculate the hit probability, I'm going to say that in 28 shots, it hit 10 times. And that's going to be a much more accurate estimator of the final probability. So then I calculated this for all 10 of the trials and averaged them out, and I got a total of 42.2% on average for the amount of bullets you're going to hit at max range. So essentially at close range, you're going to get full DPS, that full 1,213 damage per second on a stationary target, and at max range, you're going to get 42.2% of that, which is 512 damage per second, and in between, you're going to get anywhere in between those two numbers. So hopefully that gives you a better gauge of just how much damage you're going to be outputting with Scrappy. But like I said before, if your opponents are focusing on it and dodging, you're really just going to get no damage, because the way to dodge Scrappy is to just move perpendicular to the way that the shots are traveling, and since they continue to go straight in whatever angle they were fired off, and they obviously can't turn, and so if you're moving perpendicular, they're never going to hit you no matter what. But if you're moving not quite perpendicular, even just diagonally, you're not necessarily going to prevent everything because of the spread. Like if you're moving left and Scrappy is aimed on you, and you get a bullet that was just aimed slightly to the left of where Scrappy was actually aiming, then it would hit you if you're not moving completely perpendicular to the direction of attack. So just keep that in mind. If you're focusing on Scrappy, do try to go perfectly perpendicular, otherwise this spread might screw you over a bit. But that's going to wrap it up for this video, guys. I hope you learned a lot of interesting things about Scrappy, and hopefully you'll have a better idea of just how much you're going to be doing with Scrappy when you play Jessie in Brawl Stars. But that's all for today, guys, so see you later.